Right, guys. Sorry that took so long, but all those people took the time to call me on the show, and I thought I at least owed it to them to make sure that they got their questions answered, even if it wasn't on the air. But we got them all in the drawing, so that's good. So they're all going to have a shot at winning the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. So this is always an awkward time during the broadcast because I don't really know that anyone is watching right now. It says I've been live for 24 seconds and that no one is watching, but I don't trust Facebook because now four people are suddenly tuned in at the same time, and I don't think that really happened. So, so there's always like a I don't know, filler they call it in the industry that you do at the beginning of one of these broadcasts to occupy the time, right? So that people who are tuning in have a chance to tune in before you get like into the deep heavy stuff of the day or whatever. All right, so speaking of the deep heavy stuff of the day, this will be the last aftershock for a couple weeks because myself, the lovely Kimberly, and all three of the littles are going to Disney World. And so we're going to leave on Thanksgiving Day, and we're not going to be back until December 10th, which means we are going to have two recorded shows. We're going to have the 1st of December will be pre-recorded, and the 8th of December will be pre-recorded. So it's challenging during those shows, and I'll apologize in advance because they are archived. They can be pulled from the archives, or segments of those shows can be pulled to, I follow the same format. I drop the phone numbers even though I'm not here. Obviously, if you try to call, I won't be here. So there won't be any Facebook video. We're going to work on that because I can record video of me taping the show. So there's some video there, and then Kara can release it on Sunday morning at 7. So that there will be video, but it won't be a live video. It'll just be like a video. And like, here's the video, and then you can go ahead and watch it there on Facebook too. So there'll be some video to go along with it. There won't be an aftershock, however, because I'll be at Disney. So anyway, it's one of those things where the little Louis has never been to Disney World before. He's 19 months old now, so he's at that age where everything is going to be either a wonder or a scary thing, and we're going to have fun taking him down there. It makes it the whole experience new again when you take the kids down there with you, or take a new kid down there with you, and it just everything. Hey, do you know this? Do you see this? And just watch them have that wonder, that sense of wonder for something. My wife and I go down there every couple years, just take the kids down there for a vacation, and so we've done the stuff. There's some new Star Wars stuff we'll do, so that'll be cool. But we've done the stuff, and so we've done it before. We'll do it again. Everybody at this point knows you do not get in the teacup ride with Thor. That's a bad plan because literally, like, Nana gets in the teacup ride, and I'm like, all right, are we ready? And Nana and my niece were in there with me, and my son, and so we start cranking the teacup ride, right? So we're going in a circle, and we're spinning. It's crazy. Oh gosh, we're gonna die. And then all of a sudden, once I get everybody's head juice going all in one direction really good, I don't know how I did it. I had like blisters on my hands after that. I grabbed the wheel and stopped us dead. So it was like, bam, and then we cranked the other way, and everyone in the ride's like, oh, I'm gonna hurl. Hey, it was my niece's first time on the teacup ride. How do you make teacups fun for a 10-year-old girl? That's how. So yeah, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed myself. It was worth the blisters. But and Nana will never get on the she will never ride anything with me again. Now my son is getting up to the age now where he's not completely challenged by rides. We went over to Universal last time we went down there, and there was a ride. There used to be a roller coaster there called Dueling Dragons, and my son thought we were getting on the Harry Potter roller coaster, which is way less intense, right? And so he's just doing his, kid thing, not really paying attention. He was about 10 as well, 11 maybe, looking, walking through, doing his thing, whatever. And then all of a sudden he sits down in the ride, and they bring down this harness over him that goes over his body and clips between his legs, and it goes click, 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 click. And at this point he realizes something is not right. Like, this is not the same as the last time I went on this Harry Potter ride. Wait a minute, where am I? Dad, where are we? We're on Dueling Dragons. I pointed at the sign and asked if you wanted to go. And he said, I thought you pointed at the Harry Potter sign. I was like, this is Dueling Dragons, son. We're kind of strapped in now. There's not much we can do, right? So Dueling Dragons is like spins and it twists and it inverts and it does all this stuff. And I'm riding and I'm like, woo, and we get off. And I'm looking over at Jake as we're riding, and he's riding this thing. He's like, and then it turns, he's like, bam! And then it turns the other way. bam! He's just smacking his head against the restraints. He's not holding his head like, hold your head still, son. Don't just even ragdoll on me. What's wrong with you? So he gets off the ride, and he is not with the program. Like, he's straight. He's got a concussion or something. I mean, he's walking around like, so mom's coming up the trail. What did you guys do? Hey, we rode Dueling Dragons. This kid did great. And she looks at him, and he's kind of white and pasty, and he's kind of wobbling on his feet a little bit. The lights are on, but I don't think anybody's home. So yeah, fun times, fun times. So he's a little older now, so he'll be able to ride some of those rides a little more effectively. And my daughter Katie, she's old enough now that she's going to be tall enough to ride a lot of things that she couldn't ride last time. She has special needs though, so we got to be a little bit careful with what we take her on. She doesn't understand, a lot of things, but she is a thrill seeker. She's my roller coaster girl. No one else in the family really likes roller coasters. But she is my roller coaster kid. She will get on a ride and we'll go down it and she'll be scared out of her mind. And then when we're done, she'll giggle and say, "Do it again." And so I'm like, "Oh, that's my girl." So we're gonna do some roller coasters, I think. That's the only reason we're going to Universal. There are no real roller coasters, really. There's the mine cart at Disney. That's not really a roller coaster. My wife thinks it's a roller coaster. It's not a roller coaster. There's the Goofy's Barnstormer, which is a little kid roller coaster, which you ride with the little kids. It's a roller coaster for little kids. It's not a real roller coaster. You go to Universal and you ride Hulk. That's a roller coaster. That's fun stuff. So we're gonna go do that, guys. So we'll be gone for a little bit. I am leaving some very capable guys in charge of the store while I am gone. My senior technicians are aware that I will be gone, so if you have any service issues, just ask for a senior technician and they will get you taken care of. Of course, if you email me, stuff like that, I prefer that people don't email me while I'm on vacation because I do still see the emails. And, it takes me like 3 days to like slow down enough to go on vacation. And then once I'm there, like the first 3 days are a complete waste because I'm jonesing. I'm like checking my phone every 5 seconds and I'm looking for the next stimuli. And then after that, I'm like, okay. I'm okay. I'm going to go on vacation. By the time I get home, I'm like, I don't want to come back. But so basically, if you guys need something, if something's going wrong, you need some service, something like that, don't be afraid to send me an email. Let me know. I probably won't respond directly to your email, but I will forward the email to one of my senior technicians, which is like a giant row to them, especially if they knew what's going on already, that this person has reached out to Thor now and something they're not happy with something that I did. So we're going to work through that, but it'll be fun, and the kids are going to have a blast. But the next 2 shows will be recorded. There will be no after Schrocks after them, but we have some cool stuff to do on the shows. It's a season. That's why next week we're going to do the regret, the Black Friday regret show, where what did you buy on Black Friday, and we can even tag that up into what are you gonna buy on Cyber Monday that you shouldn't buy. So, because everyone's leaked their ads, so we know what's going on. We know where all the garbage is. Honestly, stay away from the Chromebooks, guys. They're bad news. It's not that they're bad news. If you're looking for a computer that literally will allow you to type and that's it, and email, it's great. Low cost of ownership. You'll never fix it because it's too cheap. You'll just replace it. If you're looking for something that allows you to do your genealogy or to maybe edit a photo, take some red eye out, or download your photos to it, because most Chromebooks don't have hard drives. And so a lot of people overlook this. They're like, oh, I don't need that. Well, unless you're ready to store everything in an online storage cloud account and pay for the storage space, especially for photos and videos and things, you're not ready for this yet. This is not prime time yet. So anyway, avoid those. And the Windows 10s stuff, it's not the end of the world. If you got a smoking hot deal on a Windows 10s laptop, just be aware that you're going to have to get it out of S mode. And maybe we should do a tutorial on this. We should do a Black Friday tutorial, like, 'cause I have a lot of time before I leave on Thursday. It's like I'm trying to compress 3 weeks of work into a week. And like on Tuesday, I'm recording 2 shows back to back. So it's going to be funny. Like, do I change my shirt in the middle of the show? Like, hey, I'm here on a different day. Let me take off this hat, grab this hat. Hey, it's me. But yeah, so I'm recording 2 shows back to back in the same afternoon so that you guys will have new content to listen to while I'm gone. Yeah, so it's going to be, it's a busy week, but I'll see if we can't put together some kind of a quick tutorial on how to get a computer out of S mode. I'll probably rope one of my technicians. Maybe I'll have John do that. It's kind of funny because one of my senior techs was like, "What is this S mode garbage?" Like, he didn't know about it. We're like, "How do you not know about this?" And he goes, well, how do you get out of it? We're like, you don't. And he's like, what are you talking about? And so we were giving him a hard time because all the junior techs knew how to get out of it, and he literally spent an entire day because he was like, no, I'm going to figure it out. And he didn't just Google it. I mean, so he spent an entire day trying to figure it out, and then finally we're like, John, go, John, you've been here what, 90 days? Go tell him how to get out of S mode. He's been here for 2 years. Tell him how to get out of S mode. He'll be fine. And it was kind of the message was sent, like, just look it up next time, okay? Don't spend a whole day trying to do something that you can look up. And literally, John had him out of S mode in like 30 seconds. So I was like, just don't. All right, let's go through these comments here. Richard made it. Blake's frozen screen. Restart it, Blake. Let's see. Don, good morning. Good morning, Don. Good morning, Robert. Good morning good morning, Thad Shamrock. Yeah, that's it could happen, right? Thad Shamrock. It could be a real thing. All right. Be sure to go to Pandora. Oh, we will. My wife is not a rider of animatronic movement roller coaster rides. She doesn't like the high motion rides. And she loved Pandora. So if you guys do end up at Disney and you have someone in your family who is not a rides person, get them to ride Pandora anyway. It is a totally different experience. You honestly have no idea you're 20 feet up in the air when you're doing it because you think you're flying. And the animal, it's the weirdest thing. Like you sit on something, think about it like a motorcycle. So you're sitting on a motorcycle and you have your hands up on the handlebars, but the sides of the motorcycle, because you're riding an animal in fantasy land here. So the sides of the motorcycle expand like a balloon and contract. You can feel the animal breathing underneath you. It's just the coolest thing. So you should definitely try that if you end up over there. All right. Yes, Carolyn. Yep, Parker will be running Papillion. He runs it all the time. I don't really. I just go in there. Parker, I had to tell Parker to like go home the other day. Like Parker, I love that. I love that you are so dedicated to your service center, and you want to make sure that everything is perfect. And I love that. I genuinely do. That's the kind of service that our company needs. But I need you to not be the guy delivering it all the time. I need you to make sure that you can leave your other senior technician in charge to make sure they can deliver it too. Because if you keep coming in and pulling 60 hours a week, you're going to burn. And everyone says, no, I'll never burn out. And then one day you wake up and you're like, why am I doing this? And you're like, yep, you hit it. You're burnt. Stop. I don't want you to burn, Parker. So I literally sent him home the other day just to make sure that he was getting the rest that he needed and not burning out, basically. But yeah, he is amazing, Carolyn. He does an amazing job at the Papillion Service Center. All right. SeaWorld has the Kraken. My daughter rode it 3 times and would have if the line wasn't so long. Yeah, we debated if we were going to go to SeaWorld this time or not. I guess I haven't been there in a while, but it's kind of like once they got rid of the whale riding show thing, it's like, why are you going to SeaWorld, I guess? Maybe they didn't get rid of it. My wife is up on all the things, all the theme park Orlando things. So I bow down before the master. All right, let's see. Senior Thor. Yep. We'll ride the Three Amigos, Keith. It's still there. They haven't removed that one yet. They have a Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and there was a scene in the ride. There's a scene where you're riding it's a boat ride basically. You're riding through like a track, and there's a scene where they're auctioning off women. The pirates are auctioning off women that were plundered basically. Okay, not currently politically correct to auction off plundered women. Okay, this Me Too, all that, that, and it's just generally bad, right? They're pirates. They do bad stuff. Disney changed it. They're auctioning off chickens or something now because people got upset about it. So you can still ride the Three Amigos, though. Nobody's upset about the Three Amigos yet. You can still ride the boat ride through the Three Amigos ride, and it's really cool. All right. Good morning from Round Rock, Texas. Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that. All right, so Service Center this week. What do we got? Guys, we are building computers literally I had to slow down the rate at which we were ordering them because the parts were just sitting, because we are building computers as quickly as we humanly can with the number of hands that we have. We are hiring another new person for the Omaha Service Center because we're transferring Chase over to go be Parker's new senior technician assistant, basically, in the Papillion Service Center, so that we can build computers even faster. And I keep warning the guys, I'm like, guys, this is nothing. Like, yes, this is busy. This is busier than normal because, lots of people are buying the computers because they're on sale. The regular computers are on sale. That never happens. So we're selling a lot of those. And then, of course, there's the holiday specials. And the holiday specials are a more complex build. There are more parts, individual parts that go into a holiday special than another computer, so it takes a little bit longer to build them. So you figure it takes, about a half an hour to build a computer, another half an hour to really program it and get it up and running and test it and make sure that it's good to go when we transfer it out. So you call it an hour per computer. And the guys are building, 16 computers a day in the service center. And yeah, and then you have a choice. Like, we have computers that came in for repair over here that I need to get done because we quote 24 to 48 hour turnaround. And over here we have computers that I need to get built because we have a build deadline on them. So what do I do? And so I'm like, grasshopper. This is the answer to your question. Start these computers doing something automated. Scans, malware scans, battery scans, any scan that you can start that'll run for a half an hour. Once those computers are all started, come over here, build a computer. Get it programming. Then go back over to these computers and start the next scans. Then go back over here and build another computer. So, yeah, I know it's complex. You got to jump around a little bit, but they're getting the hang of it. And so it's one of those things. A lot of the guys that we have in the Papillion Service Center, Parker, he was around for the last holiday special, but he was still a junior technician at the time. So he wasn't engaged in the management aspect of making sure the computers get out the door. Ryan was not with us last year for the holiday special, and Chase was with us for the holiday special last year, but he was in the Omaha Service Center, so he was not involved with any of the production. So, and Nikki, of course, was there. So Nikki's really the only one who's been in a service center, and she's like, guys, we're going to have like double lines of computers through the middle of the room like next month. If you get behind now, it's going to be so much worse later. Don't get behind. She goes, trust me, I know, don't get behind. So we don't want to get behind. So anyway, it's fun times over there. We love what we do, and we love the fact that we're building these computers for people who are going to take these things home. And they've never, a lot of them are new customers. They've never experienced what it is to have, number one, a modular computer before that can grow and change with you. Number two, they've never experienced solid state hard drive before. So when they turn this computer on, it's so fast. They're like, this is unbelievable. Number three, all the computers that we have right now that we're building are all based on the 2020 model line, which just has the guys giddy because there were significant hardware improvements in the 2020 line. The solid state hard drives are a completely different interface now. We're using all M.2 solid states. They're faster because they use a different channel on the motherboard. I won't go all geeky on you on it, but they're faster. They're not so much faster that you're going to be like, wow, but they're faster. And right now, with computers, we're playing a game of incrementalism every year. If you stagnate and you don't change your computers for a couple years, all of a sudden that incremental change over 2 years becomes a massive deficit. And you don't want that to happen. So we have to keep changing and upgrading. A little bit faster memory, a little bit faster hard drives, a little bit better processors. We upgraded all the processors for the computers. So all the way around, if you're looking for a computer, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, holidays or otherwise, right now is an amazing time to pick one up at Schrock because they're on special, $50 to $150 off. Also, there's the holiday specials, which are just amazing. We have guys that purchased like an Endeavor, our mid-range desktop model. We took it down to Lincoln after it was built, and he called up and he goes, I heard Thor on the show say, if I was going to buy a Venture, I may as well buy a holiday special because by the time I'm done configuring it, it'll be about the same price. Well, I'd like to get the holiday special instead. Okay, well, first of all, you got an Endeavor, not a Venture. Just want to make sure you understand. You didn't buy the $1,100 computer. You bought the $799 computer. So it'll be, there's a difference. Okay, sure, I still want to do it. Okay, so Addie comes back. She goes, Thor, here's what I want to do for him. We need to charge him about $600 to take his Endeavor up to a holiday special with no screen or keyboard or anything. He has all that stuff already. But I don't want to make him wait until guaranteed before Christmas, because technically it's a holiday special, right? But what if we just left it in the Endeavor case and called it a modified Endeavor, then we could get it built under the shorter build time, and maybe you could just ship the parts here directly to the shop since we already have his other stuff, and we could complete this in like 2 days. That sounds completely reasonable, Addie. Good job, good service. Go tell him. So she gets back on the phone. She's like, listen to what? I got a deal for you. It's going to be $600 to get you up to the holiday special, but you're not going to have to wait at all. It's going to be like 2 days for the parts to get here, and once the parts are here, we're going to get them all in the computer, and then you're going to have your computer out the door. It's going to be amazing. The customer's like, wait a minute. I have to pay extra to move up to the holiday special? Well, I don't want to do that then. Okay. No problem. We'll have your Endeavor ready, sir. Have a great afternoon. What in the world? What just happened? So the question was, let me clarify. When you buy an $1,100 computer and you're done configuring it and changing the things you want and adding a monitor and a keyboard to it, you're going to be really close to $1,500. At that point, you may as well buy the holiday special because it comes with a monitor, it comes with the wireless keyboard and mouse, and it's 3 times the computer that the Venture is. It's a duh. But you're going to pay the same price for the holiday special that everybody else is paying for it. So there, now I've cleared that up. We're good to go on that one. All right. Hello from Clarinda, Iowa. All right, Roger. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Kevin, I have a what? Any neighborhood app on my email. However, every time I click on the message to read more, I get a 494 error. How do I get around this? It'll work on my phone, but not my computer. A 494 error. Kara, do you happen to know what a 494 error is? I'm looking it up right now. I'm not asking you to look it up. But I'm just like, Kara just joined the show. Kara is our technology whiz at Schrock Interactive that does all things search, all things marketing. She's really good at what she does. Error 494 may be caused by a Windows system. Oh, come on. So Google pulls a spam snippet. Yeah, great. What is error 494? It's not a Windows error code. Internet. Uh-huh. Oh, wow, here we go. When I go to Nextdoor, this is literally the top result for 494 error internet. When I go to nextdoor.com, which is maybe what you meant, neighborhood, I don't know, I get an error 494. I run Windows 10 on a Dell laptop. I can get to nextdoor.com using Edge in a private window, but not a regular window. Reset your browser. No data will be impacted. So the solution on your computer is to reset your browser. The 494 error is something that's going on with your browser, not the computer. If you go into your settings, you can click Restore Factory Default Settings. It'll restore everything back. You won't lose your favorites or anything. You will have to reset your home page, though. It's a huge deal. But yeah, that's what we would do. Now, if you're a Schrock Desk subscriber, that means if you pay $30 a month for the... wow. That's loud. Like there's a pipe organ behind me all of a sudden. If you're a Schrock Desk subscriber, you get that for $30 a month. You get unlimited support. You can just call us in the service center. We'll reset your browser for you. And there's no charge for that if you're a Schrock Desk subscriber because it's unlimited support. That makes a great Christmas gift if you guys are looking for something to give for mom or dad that is a meaningful gift, something they will actually use. But I don't know. It's a selfless and selfish gift at the same time. Because when my parents call me, they always want tech support. They always want me to do something for them. If I had a place that I could say, here's a year, Dad, of Schrock Desk support. If you have a computer problem, you can call them. Then I know when my dad calls me, I'm not like, oh boy, here we go. It's like, Dad's calling because he wants to talk. This is cool. Hi, Dad, how's it going? So because when there's technical stuff, you can call Schrock over that. You also, when you're a Schrock Desk subscriber, get half off of all labor services. So that is things like Safe Upgrade. That's things like maintenance checkups, hours of labor, on-sites. You get half off of everything. So it's a really, really, within a year, you make your investment back typically in the Schrock Desk, but it's nice to have that support all the time there when you need it, and it makes a great gift. So they're commercial over, I guess. I don't know how I got on that tangent. I do these kind of things sometimes. All right. Yeah, background music, that's right. It's church time. No expense spared for your show. Yeah, that that was ridiculously loud, wasn't it? And there's a knob over there that I could get up and turn, and it would quiet the room. But then you'd be looking at a blank KFAB background, and of course, Facebook would choose that moment to take a snippet for the cover art for the show this week. It'll be this week on the After Schrock. Nobody's there. Instead, what they're going to do is they're going to take a snippet of me going, and that'll be the snippet. Oh, let me freeze frame it. Jazz hands. There, that'll be it now. Jazz hands. All right, so let's see. Did I not get to anything on the show? I was shotgunning through a lot of stuff at the end there because we had a lot of calls this week. And I always want to get to the callers because the callers are way more interesting than the news of the day. Intel says they're sorry for PC chip delays. PC chip delays. We just can't meet demand for processors. Intel has published a letter apologizing for the unenviable position of not being able to meet demand for processors. In an extremely rare move, Intel published a letter from a senior executive apologizing to customers and partners for ongoing delays in shipments of CPUs. The letter was signed by blah, 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 blah. I'd like to acknowledge and sincerely apologize, blah, 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 blah. Intel flagged the letter as part of its supply update notice, although Intel is working hard to regain supply-demand balance. It remains a challenge. Meanwhile, the price of Intel processors... All right. Despite investments and the best efforts to meet demand, Intel has not resolved the challenge. She said Intel had invested record levels of CapEx, that's a capital expenditure, on boosting its 14-nanometer wafer capacity. They are delicious. At the same time, ramping up 10-nanometer production, because 10-nanometer is even more delicious. The smaller the nanometer number, guys, the more power efficient the chip is, which means it uses less battery. It's also faster. So when you get down 14 nanometer, 10 nanometer, we're reaching that point where we can't. The manufacturing capability doesn't exist to go smaller. So they have to literally invent a new manufacturing process to manufacture, for example, an 8 nanometer wafer next time. So they can't keep up, which I thought was ironic when I read this, because the first thing that tinged in my head was I thought the PC was dead. We're not talking about phone chips here, guys. These are CPUs. These are central processing units for computers, and they can't make them fast enough. Central processing units go into desktops and laptops. If the desktop is dead, where are all the processors going? So I thought that was kind of odd. The added capacity, blah, blah, blah. However, sustained market growth in 2019 has outpaced our efforts and exceeded third-party forecasts. Supply remains extremely tight in our PC business, and we are operating with limited inventory buffers. Here's what's happening, guys. Windows 10 is upgrading every 6 months, and it's obsoleting people's computers. There are people who want to do the upgrade to 1909, but they cannot do it because their computer will not run the software. These people are mostly not Schrock customers, or if they are Schrock customers, they're running things like an HP or a Dell, and they bring it in and they're like, okay, why can't I install 1909? And we say it's because your graphics card is bad. They didn't give you a slot in here to add a new graphics card, so you're dead. You need a new computer. Well, this is mother beep. Why is this happening to me? Well, if you buy a modular computer, we make sure you get the ports in there. It's one of the 3 stools of the modular concept, is that the computer you get today is not going to be the computer you're going to have 6 years from now. And we need to build you a computer today that is constructed in such a way that, number one leg, we can swap parts. We can replace things without having to rewrite the whole thing. We can put a new mainboard in and not have to replace the memory and the processor like you have to do on modern laptops. We can put a new power supply in without having to replace it, without having to buy it specifically from HP at this ridiculously exorbitant rate. We want to be able to replace the hard drive. It's not soldered down to the motherboard like they do on MacBook Pros now, right? So replaceable components. The second leg is it's built for heavier use than what you're going to use it for. So we put a 400 watt power supply in our computers, guys. Your computer needs about 180 watts to run. Why do we spend the extra money to put a 400 watt power supply? What you don't know is that your power supply wears down over time. Every time you bring your computer in, laptop or desktop, for a maintenance checkup, we test the power supply because it degrades slowly over time. It's just like the battery in your phone. It is the battery in your laptop, more importantly. It is always degrading. No matter how much or how little you use it, it is degrading. That's the nature of lithium. It degrades. We have to track that so that if it gets too bad, we can get it replaced before it explodes or catches on fire or, just stops working. That's inconvenient, right? So as your power supply goes from 400 watt brand new, and then a year later it's a 190, then a 180, then a 150, then 60. You can see it goes down 400, down to 300, down to 200 4 or 5 years later, and you're still running on the same power supply, even though it's lost half of its capacity. If you bought an HP, you got a power supply that gave you a 10 watt margin for error. That power supply is designed to last 18 months before it fails. And that's why people's computer dies. They don't think I'm going to go look for a power supply. They think I'm going to go get a new HP. And they do, or a new Dell, or a new whatever. So that's the second stool of the modular leg, is that we're building the computer with parts that exceed the expectations. Fans that push more air than you need, more memory than you think you need, more processor capability than you think you need, faster wireless cards than your router can even support right now. Because eventually you're going to buy that AC router. And when you do, your computer can handle it. And it'll actually improve your internet speed. You'll get the improvements. All the things that just work in life, they don't just work because you got lucky. With a modular computer, they work because we planned ahead when we built the computer. And then the third leg is the durability of the components. The parts that we put into a modular computer are not the cheap parts you get off. When you go to Newegg or Amazon or wherever you buy parts online from, and you sort by price, you can buy parts. You can sit down and you can build a computer that has an identical spec to the holiday special for right around $1,500. And you're like, Thor's not doing a stupid holiday special thing, building it at cost my butt, whatever. We don't use those parts. We don't use the spec tech memory from China. Why? Well, because half of it fails before it's 2 years old. We learned that the hard way. We tried to do that. When you're in the ultimate upgrade, the cheapest computers that we sell, we use cheaper memory. And literally, they bounce back to us like rubber balls. We ended up swapping out the RAM on every single one of them. You brought it in for a maintenance checkup. You didn't even know we swapped out the RAM. It was like a silent recall. Boop, boop, swap the RAM. Send it back out the door. Just as a precaution. Because this RAM was junk. We didn't know it when we bought it. It was supposed to be great, but it was junk. SanDisk hard drives. The SanDisk solid state drives, in January, it was like we said we're going to use Western Digital, SanDisk, or Kingston, because the Samsung drives have a huge price premium. These other drives are reasonably priced. There are drives that are cheaper that we could buy for the big solid state special we did in January, but we're not going to buy those drives because they're junk. What we found out later was the SanDisk drives, if they do fail, there are no data recovery options. We didn't think of that. Like, oh my gosh, what's the recovery option if these things ever would fail? We stopped selling all SanDisk hard drives at that point. We're not going to do that. Why would we do that to you? If your hard drive ever would fail, which Lord forbid, we hope it doesn't, you should have a backup. But if you don't, which many people don't, and it fails, which it doesn't usually happen, but some people it does, and you're in that perfect storm, why would we put a hard drive in your computer that we can't even recover? That's stupid. That's really stupid. So we don't do that anymore. So when you get a modular computer, it's not just the cheapest parts on the shelf. It's not just the most expensive parts on the shelf. Everything that goes into that computer is designed to go into that computer. So that by the time you get this machine home and you're using it for 3 or 4 years, it's not an accident that this thing keeps running. It's by design. It's intentional. All right. Sorry. I get a little excited about modular. All right. Oh, here come all the comments from the previous show. Facebook's figuring out the show is over from before. It's telling me all the comments. All right, so I feel bad. I don't want to cut you guys short here because I'm going to be gone for the next couple weeks. All right, last call for questions. If anybody has a question for the program, feel free to ask it now. If you have any questions, the time to ask them is now. And we'll go ahead and get those answered for you before we sign off. Last Aftershock for, my gosh, 3 weeks. So the cool thing is you guys get like a mini Aftershock when we record the other show. So I was talking about you earlier in the show, how Kara, I was talking about you, how you're going to be uploading the shows for me while we're gone, the video for them. And so while I record the show, I'm going to be rolling this camera. It's going to be very much like this. So I'll be doing this thing. So guys, this is how it goes. And then I'll be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, recording. All right, welcome into Compute This. I'm talking to nobody, and I'm going to try to pretend like I'm talking to somebody because it's really mentally weird to know you're not talking to anybody in this moment in time, but to keep talking anyway. It's not weird right now because I can know you're watching me, right? I know there's 37 of you at least watching me right now. So then, okay, segment 1 is over. All right, segment 1 is done, which means segment 2 needs to be 4 minutes and 27 seconds. And oh my gosh, guys, did you hear me stumble on those words? Like, oh, I couldn't even talk. But, you know, I can correct that, but it sounds like real, right? So people listening to the show, you know, secret tip, you know it's a recorded show. If I ask for calls and no, not a single call comes in, odds are it's a recorded show. Tip. So you get to learn all this inside stuff in between the segments while I'm mathing and doing things. Okay, time for segment 2. Welcome back to the show. Like, we were just here, now we're just back. It's amazing. And we do another show. We also have these shows called evergreen shows. Evergreen shows are shows that we can run anytime that are generic. They don't reference holidays or sales or anything like that. We've got one for maintenance checkups. We've got one for modular computers. And it's basically, unfortunately, it's an infomercial. There's no news of the day built into them. There might be a high concept stuff that we talk about like, oh, the government, oh, you know, or whatever. But, you know, they're evergreen. They're always good. So this is good, for example, if Thor's driving to the radio show and I get hit by a bus. And, you know, I'll be okay, but I'm not going to be on the air today. I'm going to look like that Mayhem guy, right? So you know who I'm talking about, Mayhem, right? And Mayhem, like me. So that would be a fun rip to do. We need to rip off the Mayhem commercials, Kara. Computer Mayhem. That would be a fun one because if we're going to rip it off, we just have to be blatant about it and just like laugh about the fact we're ripping off Mayhem like him. You know, we'll just make fun of it. In fact, Kara, just come in and do the shows while I'm gone, and you can do all this fun stuff. It'll be fine. Everybody will love you. It'll be fine, you know, whatever. All right, so let me see. I asked for questions. Let's see if I got any here. All right, Thor, I'm looking to get a new router or mesh system. I have 3 levels in my house. Main hub is on the top level. Any suggestions? All right, Jim, there's a couple different ways you can do this. I have 3 levels in my home as well. My router happens to be in the basement, which is not ideal. Usually you want it on the top level like what you have. Mine's in the basement because that's where all the gaming gear is at, and my son wants wired connections for stuff. So it's on the main level, or on the lower level. And so the router that I have on the lower level covers the entire house, all the streaming for everything. It has great signal strength throughout the house. I can get signal in the backyard. I can get signal in the front yard. If I drive away from the house, my phone doesn't figure out the Wi-Fi is gone until I've gone about a block away. So that's one router. So that you could do this whole thing with one router if you wanted to. Excuse me. The mesh system that you're talking about is a system of, what it is, it's a wireless router with wireless repeaters that repeat the signal. So we called them repeaters back in the day, and now they call it a mesh system because that's cooler. So it's just repeaters. So if you do one router, start with one router. If you do one router and you find you have a dead spot in the kitchen, install a mesh or a repeater that will repeat the signal in the kitchen. Creates another wireless network just for the kitchen. But it's all on the same backbone. So anyway, that's what I would recommend. There's a few different ways you can do this. Depending on what you're going to do with the router. So the TP-Link routers that we carry in the service center for $150 are wireless AC. They are multi-antenna. They will cover all 3 floors of your house if you need them to. They're intended for light streaming. So in other words, we're thinking like streaming like a 50-year-old would do, right? Not streaming like I have 3 kids at home. Each of them have an iPad and a TV running somewhere in the house. And my wife's watching something and I'm on Facebook on my phone. That is not light streaming. That's heavy streaming. So I have a heavy-duty router in my house. So basically the way you can do this is looking at it by price point. If you're in that heavy-duty situation, expect to spend about $200 to $300 on a router. If you are in a typical user position, like where you're streaming a little bit, maybe you got the Disney Plus subscription, checking out The Mandalorian, doing all that stuff, $150 is good to go. If you are not streaming and you're using it for basic internet and email, usually you can get away for about $100. $150 would be overkill. It'll last a little bit longer for you. It's a little bit more robust router. So when you get into the $200 to $300 range, your routers actually have their own processors. They have artificial intelligence. They have fans that keep them cool, no joke. So there's maintenance that goes into that. So there's other things to consider too. I would suggest going with a router and then adding repeaters as necessary. All righty. Did I miss a question from Frank about recycling somewhere? Maybe not. Let's see. don't see. That's weird. I do not see. There it is. What's the bench time in Lincoln using preventative maintenance? Bench time in Lincoln is excellent right now. So now is the time to bring that stuff in, guys. This week is going to be weird because of Thanksgiving. We're going to die on Wednesday. It's going to be completely empty. We're not going to check anything in. So anything that we check in on Monday or Tuesday, we're going to have it out the door well before the holiday so you can get your computer back if you want, or if you would prefer it not to be in the house, you can just not pick it up until Friday. We are closed on Thursday for Thanksgiving. Alrighty. Recycling at any Schrock location. Yep, so monitors and all-in-ones, when we recycle those at the service centers, guys, they're $15 regardless of size or weight. Any other computer equipment is absolutely free. That includes printers, keyboards, mice, speakers, towers, laptops. We do not take televisions at all. We do not take appliances at all. We don't take anything that's not computer related. If you are one of these people that can somehow string together an argument that your answering machine is somehow computer related, we will give you an A for effort and take it. But we don't take TVs, okay? All right, can Drive Advisor be loaded and now secure updated? Yes, Drive Advisor is functioning right now for main hard drives, for C drives. There is still an issue with Drive Advisor not properly detecting secondary hard drives, like your backup drive, and checking those for problems. We are working that issue right now, but Drive Advisor is currently stable. It's detecting problems accurately for C drives. It's not impeding the installation of the safe upgrade any longer. Everything's going good there. We're going to get this other little glitch figured out and sorted out pretty quickly for you here. There was a library that expired or got updated or something, and we had to change some things, and we didn't realize we had to change them. And once we realized it, we changed them, and it started working. So that's usually how software troubleshooting goes. How does an HP Envy compare to your holiday special? Well, to give you an idea, guys, the show, I use an HP Envy to broadcast the show. This is all this laptop gets used for. The reason I used an HP Envy for it is because it was a Core i7 processor with 16 gigs of RAM and a solid-state hard drive and a nice 4K display. I paid $2,000 for this computer a year ago. Yeah, that's stupid. So how does this computer rank against the holiday special? A lot of the similar specs, right? This is a 7th generation Core i7. It's 2 generations behind the processor in the holiday special. This computer comes with 16 gigs of RAM. The holiday special also comes with 16 gigs of RAM, but the RAM is faster. This computer is maxed out at 16 gigs of RAM. The holiday special can go up to 32 gigs of RAM. Both computers have a 4K display and come with a smart stylus, so that's the same. Both computers have backlit keyboards. Once you get it over $1,500 in a computer, these are basic things that are to be expected. They have similar USB ports. Neither one of them comes with a DVD drive because computers don't need them anymore. Both of them, the screens fold back into tent or tablet mode. So from that perspective, they're really nice. But the challenge you have, I'm comparing the holiday special to my Spectre that I have here. You can get an HP Spectre for like $400, and you can get an HP Spectre for like $2,500. It just depends what you put in it for the guts. So how does it compare? From design, from heat management and screen quality, I think they might even use the same panels in the screens. So that's going to be very similar. Where you're going to have a divergence is going to be the Smart Pen technology in the Dell is a little bit better. If you're going to use that, it's great. The Dell has more upgradability than the Spectre does. Also, the Dell is easier to take apart than the Spectre. To take my Spectre apart, when my batteries swelled up, my battery started swelling on me, which is where we came up with the idea that we should include battery tech in Drive Advisor, which is what caused a bunch of stuff to break in Drive Advisor because we were laying the groundwork for battery detection. And my battery swelled up to the point I couldn't use my touchpad anymore. My touchpad was bowed. And I'm like, this is bad, right? So I had to take my laptop apart. I had to take out all the screws to get that out, and the lid still won't come off. And I found out that my glued down rubber feet, I had to pull the rubber feet off, get to the screws under the rubber feet, and it was one-time use adhesive on the feet, go figure. So I had to get out the Gorilla Glue and glue my rubber feet back on so that my laptop would still have the rise that it needs to get the airflow that it needs. And then I was able to go in there and do my battery replacement just like I would do in the shop, put it all back together. This is why we charge an hour of labor on internal batteries, guys. It's a lot of work. And then get it all going. I should have upgraded my hard drive while I was in there because I'm running out of room on my hard drive, but whatever, now I glued it shut, right? I have to glue it again next time. I'll make the guys do it next time. So anyway, that's the big difference. The big difference is the upgradability. The big difference is going to be the support, honestly. When you get a Dell from Schrock, you're getting 2 warranties. You're, of course, getting the Dell warranty, which is a good warranty, but you're also never going to have to deal with Dell. because you have a Schrock warranty. So if you bring it into Schrock, we take care of it. If there's a problem with it, we will deal with Dell to get it replaced, fixed, upgraded, replaced, whatever has to happen. We will push Dell to get it done as quickly as possible. We will handle all shipping and receiving. You don't have to be home if it has to be shipped. You don't have to be home to receive it when it comes back and sign for it. And then when it's all, we take a backup of your hard drive so that if Dell wipes your hard drive, we can restore your hard drive. We think of all the things that nobody thinks about when they send a computer in for repair. We do them all so that way when you get your computer back, it's just a seamless experience. You don't see under the surface all these crazy things happening, but they happen every day in every Schrock location. Alrighty. All right. Won't be nobody. I missed some comments somewhere. Lovely Kimberly, won't be nobody. I'll be there. Oh, you meant for the radio show. So okay, I thought you were responding to typed comments on here, and I was like, when I said that nobody will be there, I'll be talking to myself. I didn't know you were still coming with me. You were kind of hemming and hawing about it. Like, just want to just sit there and be like, boom. So I don't know. Maybe Lovely Kimberly, guys, give me your opinion on this. Does the Lovely Kimberly, because she has nothing but time going forward, does she need to put together a segment for the show that she could do like in the studio with me when she's able to come to the show? So yeah, I think she does. I think she needs to put together a segment on something. Hey, people were really actually interested in your comparison of the different photo places. Of the places that the memory box places where you put your photos in the box and mail it in. Lots of people actually asked, how did that go? I think that would be a hit, and that's a memory box thing. That's a good gift idea, right? Come on, boom, there you go. All right, guys, I'm gonna roll on out of here. I got to get home, and I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff we have to get done this weekend. I think we might be taking my daughter to Frozen 2 today as well. Just as an aside, huge shout out to Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee in Papillion, the manager of that Hy-Vee had this idea where one of his employees, they dressed her up like Elsa, basically, put her in the Elsa dress and everything. And if you come in and you buy a pizza, breadsticks, and some cupcakes for $20, you can have Elsa deliver your pizza and you get a picture with Elsa. Not deliver, like take it to your house, but like deliver it to you at the store, like hand it to you. And then your kids get a picture with Elsa. It was a brilliant marketing idea. And my daughter, she's special needs, but she's super into Frozen. And so we're like, this would be really cool, but I didn't want to take her there if there was going to be like a line of 50 people, and waiting in line with a special needs kid is not really their thing. So I talked to the manager beforehand, and I wasn't asking for like a special accommodation, but he said, tell you what, she'll be ready at 1:45. Why don't you guys come in 15 minutes before, and then you can do it while we'll set up a time just for your daughter. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so nice of you. So then we get there. Not only did they set up a time just for our daughter, but Elsa was there. She got down with Katie, got some pictures taken. They gave her a toy. They had a wand toy. It's like a $15 toy. And they gave her a wand toy and said, this is yours. You can keep it. Oh my gosh, she's been pushing that play button over and over and over for like days. Elsa this, Elsa that. She was going to sleep last night. And I'm laying there in bed, like holding her while she's going to sleep. And she rolls over and she looks at me in this quiet little kid voice and she says, Elsa. And I'm like, yes, Elsa. And then she falls asleep. I mean, it was amazing. So Hy-Vee totally made her night. Thank you very much, Hy-Vee, for being such a good member of the community. And you do great things all the time in all your stores. But the one in Papillion really outdid themselves this time. It was really awesome to see. All right, time for me to get rolling. Yes, Dawn, there is no doubt she is my better half in many, many ways. Many ways. All right, guys, we'll talk to you here you'll see me. I'll talk to you on Tuesday, but you won't see that till Saturday or Sunday-ish. So, yeah, we'll talk in a few weeks, okay? Thanks a lot. Stay safe. Do your shopping. If you want your computers, guys, I'm serious about this. We're going to get to a point. By the time I get back from vacation, we won't be offering delivery anymore. We're guaranteed by Christmas. We just can't do it. It'll probably happen before that. I'm going to do the math on it, and probably one of my pre-recorded shows will be like, today is the last day you can get guaranteed Christmas delivery. It's coming up fast. It just takes time to build this stuff, guys. So anyway, thank you for joining us on the show. I appreciate it. Tell your friends about the program. Please like it and share it on Facebook, especially the sharing. It makes a huge difference to us. We get listeners one person at a time. And it's kind of cool to see that we've gained about 160 likes, or followers, basically, on the Schrock Innovations Facebook page over the course of this year. That's 160 individual people that thought the stuff that we were saying is interesting enough to want to hear some more. And you just can't ask for better stuff than that. It's awesome. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Some companies go out and they buy likes. We've never bought a like, never once. We've never gone out and said, hey, I want to buy 10,000 likes for $50, and all of a sudden you look way bigger than you are. Some companies do that. We don't, because I always want to know the real number. I want to know the real number of real people who are not Russian trolls, who are actually watching the program or engaged or listening to us on the show. So thank you for being here and engaged and listening. Thank you for liking and sharing. I appreciate it. Thank you for your reviews and your recommendations. They make a real difference in the service centers and to the lives of our technicians. So again, great week to come on in this week. Short week for everybody. It means we're going to be slower. Get it in. We'll get it back to you right away. Have a great afternoon and a great Thanksgiving, guys. Stay safe.